It's Sunday, April 6th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the dogs and I are down on the Cataraqui Trail, walking west from the Walker Road parking area. It's partly sunny with a light wind and 8 degrees. So I've just got Luna and Zoe with me today, as Bandit is still recovering from having been spayed last Wednesday. They recommend that the dogs take it pretty easy for the first 7 to 10 days, so we've been just walking her gently around the property on a leash so she doesn't run and get out of control. And she's been also wearing a little head collar type thing just to keep her from possibly chewing at the incision site. So anyhow, we'll be looking forward to getting her back into normal things probably by Tuesday or Wednesday this week. As you can see in this video, this trail is amazing for its sedimentary limestone deposits that we pass through. They encompass much of this trail, so it's really nice. You feel like you're walking in a little cavern at times. Just beautiful. And to imagine the time that is passing right beside you here, laid out in horizontal layers, going back hundreds of millions of years. That was a little patch of snowdrops, which are not native to North America. They sometimes become naturalized or escaped from gardens here. That's the first time I've ever seen them around here. So I don't think they're a big threat as an invasive species, as far as I know. Very pretty. A very early spring bloomer, and they have that intense white color about them. Can hear chorus frogs calling down in the valley here. Don't know if they'll be picked up on the microphone. Probably not. Here's an overturned tree that took out part of the trail when it tipped over, I guess in the recent ice storm. Just on the edge of the trail, luckily. So who needs Niagara Falls when you have that splendor right in your backyard? Just beautiful. That's one of the main reasons I like to cruise along this trail at this time of year. You have all the spring meltwater running off the limestone escarpment here and down into the valley. And there are numerous little waterfalls along here, very pretty. And in a month or two, they'll be all dried up with nothing running over them. So it's a very ephemeral thing, and you have to hit it just at the right time, like now. Okay, we'll go up into this little lookout here, demarcated by these limestone block steps here. And the little sign on the wall there says, "Be tough yet gentle, humble yet bold, swayed always by beauty and truth." And I think that's a good saying for these days. It's feeling like about 10 degrees along here right now. Sheltered out of the wind and the sun directly on me, so it's really beautiful. This morning it was quite cool and nasty out. Cloudy, humid and cold, dank feeling. But it's warmed up nicely now. Okay, this is the bridge over Subway Hill. Little Phoebe up here. Most of the trail along here has been dry and hard-packed and fairly suitable for riding, but this section is quite wet and flooded even. Kind of strange when there's just flat fields on each side. Nothing really draining onto it. The water is actually flowing along the track here. So maybe up here somewhere there's a outflow onto the trail. Yeah, I can see where the water begins now up there on the trail, so there's got to be something up there dumping water onto the trail. Flowing quite fast here towards the east. Okay, here's where the water is entering onto the trail. It's coming out of the ditch area here. And the ditch is flooded all the way up here along, right up to the junction of the K&P Trail, which is just a couple hundred meters ahead of me here. So we'll see where it's coming from there. So the water disappears under the pile of grass here. we have a driveway to a local farm, and then the water appears on the other side. So it's 3:10 and we've just reached the K&P Trail. And I think we're going to head back here because we've been walking for an hour and 10 minutes. We'll have roughly the same time back, maybe a bit quicker because we won't be doing so much video and photography. But the day is beautiful. It's gotten really nice with mostly sunny skies. Just a light breeze, getting a little heavier at times, and then about 10 degrees. So as best as I could tell, this water seems to be just flowing down the ditches along the trail here. And then here, for whatever reason, it comes out onto the trail. Still some flowing down the ditch, but I guess what it is the ditches aren't quite as deep on the sides here. So it's coming out onto the trail and then flowing down. Oh, and Zoe's decided she needs a swim to cool down. Beautiful turkey vulture flying over. Been seeing lots of those lately, coming back. So these limestone layers behind me here are part of the Ordovician limestone group that overlay much of the Precambrian bedrock in this area through southern Ontario, from Kingston west over towards Prince Edward County and all that area. And these range in age from about 450 to 480 million years. So the thickness of limestone layers like this over the granitic bedrock can range from dozens of meters to hundreds of meters, depending where you are in southern Ontario. And these were laying down in ancient seas hundreds of millions of years ago, as you would expect from the age of the rocks. And that occurred through the sedimentation of dying organisms containing lots of calcium in their bodies. And over millions and millions of years, this is what it led to, was the development of these limestone layers. So while these ancient seas contain numerous life forms of many types, it would still be 200 to 250 million years before dinosaurs would arrive on the scene. Some green leaves already showing of the non-native Dame's rocket. This is a very early growing plant along the trail here. It occurs in waste areas primarily, being non-native. That's how they often do occur. And it eventually gets these tall stalks, as you can see here, the dead ones remaining from last year. And they have pretty purple or mauve blooms on them, sometimes whitish blooms up along the stalk in a raceme. They're actually very pretty. And though they're not native, I don't think they pose a big invasive threat, as they usually are found in fairly waste areas. So along this section of the trail, the limestone on the north side here is about 10 meters in height, or 30 feet. But this is only the depth that you see that was required to make the railway. So they had to carve through that much of it to get down to this level where they wanted to build the tracks. So the limestone extends far below this, and it may go down, I don't know, 50, 75, or 100 meters or more until you get to the granitic bedrock of the Canadian Shield. And that would vary depending where you are on the landscape. In some places you have a thin layer of limestone over the Canadian Shield, in other places you have much thicker layers. And here's some colt's foot blooming, another non-native plant that blooms very early in the spring, usually along road edges, and as we see here, trail sides as well. Disturbed ground, gravelly ground typically. Chorus frogs singing down in the valley ponds here. Okay, it's 4:13 now and we're just finishing up our hike here on the Cataraqui Trail. Hope you enjoyed that outing west from the Walker Road parking area over to the K&P Trail and back.